Story: The painter who forgot colors. In a bustling city filled with gray buildings and hurried faces, there lived a painter named Adrian. His art once shimmered with life, skies that blazed with crimson, fields that sang in emerald, oceans that breathed in sapphire. People would stop and stare at his paintings and whisper, "He paints what we feel, not what we see." But one morning, Adrian woke up to find that something was terribly wrong. When he picked up his brush, the colors on his palette looked lifeless. Red looked dull, blue looked pale, and yellow had lost its warmth. It was as if the world had drained of color overnight. Panicked, he rushed outside. Cars, trees, even the morning sun, everything appeared gray. He rubbed his eyes, thinking it was a dream. But it wasn't. He had lost the ability to see color. Days turned into weeks, and Adrian stopped painting. His gallery closed, his friends drifted away, and his name began to fade from the art world. Every day he sat by the window, staring at the lifeless city, feeling like the colors had abandoned not just his eyes, but his soul. One afternoon, a little girl appeared outside his door holding a crumpled piece of paper. "Are you the man who paints rainbows?" she asked. Adrian almost smiled. "I used to," he said quietly. "But I can't see colors anymore." The girl frowned and held out her drawing, a crooked house, a smiling sun, and stick figures of a family. "Then use mine," she said innocently. "I still have lots of colors." Adrian took the drawing and stared at it for a long time. He couldn't see the colors, but somehow he felt them, bright, alive, warm. That night, he dreamt of the sea again, of skies bursting with gold and pink, of laughter echoing through sunlight. When he woke up, his room was still gray, but his heart wasn't. He decided to paint again, not with sight, but with memory. With feeling. He painted the laughter of children as waves of yellow. He painted loneliness as thin strokes of blue. He painted love not as red, but as a soft light that touched every corner of his canvas. People began visiting again, not because of how his art looked, but how it made them feel. A journalist once asked, "How can you paint without seeing colors?" Adrian smiled. "Because I finally understand colors were never in my eyes. They were in my heart." Years passed, and his art became legendary. His gallery was filled with people who cried, smiled, and felt something they couldn't explain. They called his new collection the Unseen Spectrum. One day, the little girl, now grown, returned. She stood quietly in front of one of his paintings, a gray canvas with faint, almost invisible brushstrokes. "This one feels peaceful," she whispered. Adrian chuckled softly. "That's because peace doesn't need color." She looked at him with teary eyes. "Did your colors ever come back?" He gazed at the painting and said they never left. "I just had to stop looking with my eyes to see them again." When Adrian passed away years later, people from all over the world came to honor him. In his studio, they found a single note taped beside his last unfinished painting. It read, "Don't wait for the world to give you color. Paint it yourself, even if all you have is gray." And so his legacy lived on. Every artist, every dreamer who felt lost, would remember the man who painted without seeing, the painter who taught the world that life's true beauty doesn't come from what we see but from what we feel. Life lesson: even when life loses its color, don't stop creating. Real beauty lies not in what your eyes perceive, but in what your heart believes. When the world feels gray, that's when your soul must paint brightest. SEO title: The Painter Who Forgot Colors, an emotional story about finding beauty in darkness.